Everything we need is now in the library. I cannot think of anything else that I want to add to this, but I have symbols for my action words, I have symbols for my photos, I have my welcome banner, and I have my red wide banner. So we are ready to start assembling our animation. Down here on the timeline, and if you're a broadcast major and you do video editing, you probably have an idea of what a timeline is all about. This is telling me, by the way, that we're running at 24 frames per second. So that would be frame 24, that's 1 second. And 48 would be there, that's 2 seconds. So each one of these little ticks is basically 1/24 of a second. I'm going to come down and click on the new layer icon because the first layer sometimes gets a little confused because we've been putting so many things on the stage that, well, it just gets a little confused. So I'm going to double click where it says layer 2. I'm going to call this photo 1. Maybe if I spell it correctly, it'll be better. Press the return key. And I'm going to make sure that my timeline is on square number 1. I'm going to come over into my library, click and hold on photo symbol 1 and just drag it onto the stage and let go of my mouse button. And it's not exactly where it needs to be because I'm going to actually position it on the stage so that I don't see the little white symbols or the little white of the stage peeking out from behind it. I was using the arrow keys to position it onto the stage. This is the symbol because I'm looking and I can see the little dot right there, so I know I am working with the symbol. I'm going to press and hold the control key down while I click. And the very first option says create motion tween. I'm going to click on that. And notice down here that very quickly it basically gave me 1 second. If I move the mouse pointer to that last frame, you can see that it gives me this little pointy arrow. So if I click on hold my mouse down, whoops, try it again. I'm going to click and hold my mouse down and start dragging. I can lengthen this out, and I'm going to take it out to 85 frames. So now we have set this up so that this photo will be displayed for 85 frames. Now this is the first photo, and it's going to show up full intensity. It doesn't fade in or anything like that. It's just there when the animation starts. So we're not going to do anything at the beginning, but we are going to come toward the end. And I'm going to click right here at panel number 70. And we're going to start to fade this photo out. The photo right now is in full intensity, but we're going to start to fade it out. So I've got my timeline indicator on frame number 70. I'm going to come back onto the motion editor, click, and I'm going to scroll down, and you can't see it because it's off to the side of the page, but I scrolled down quite a ways to the point where we have this thing that says color effect. I'm going to click on the plus sign. The very first item is alpha, and wow, the alpha really dropped a whole bunch. I want the alpha to basically be like 99% at that point. So if I go back to the timeline, well, for some reason the first panel, the alpha, is way down. So let's fix that. That may or may not be a problem on yours, but I want the alpha to be 100% on that first panel. Go back to timeline. I'm going to go back to 70, frame number 70. My alpha is 99%. That's good. And then I'm going to come to frame number 85. Click on that. Make sure that that one is the active frame. Go back to motion edit alpha. At this point, I want alpha all the way out. Go back to the timeline. Now I'm going to click on panel number 1, and I'm going to press the return key. Let me move this up where we can see what's going on. I'll slide it down just a little bit so that we can see where it is on the timeline as it goes scrolling through. And the picture is solid, it's fading, and by the time it gets to frame number 85, it has faded completely out. And that's exactly what we want for this first photo.